Everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to talk about getting our boots ready for another year. Well, another 6 months. So follow along with me. Be right back. Welcome back again, everybody. And today's subject, we're going to talk about sort of getting your boots ready after a season, after a winter season. Now, I have one pair of boots, and these are them right here, that I use for the winter. And I also use them in the summertime if I'm going to be doing any kind of mountaineering, or if I do more than one day in the outdoors. If it's wet, this kind of stuff, I'll wear these right here. These are, and you've seen them before, these are the Haix 2.0 Scouts, okay? It's a 6-inch upper and with a Vibrant sole on it. I think it's called Vibrant. Yeah, it's a Vibrant sole, you know. And really good boots. They're Gore-Tex, lightweight. So in the wintertime, I've purchased them a half size too big or bigger than I normally need them. That's not a big problem for me, because in the summertime, I'll wear just some lightweight merino wool socks. In the wintertime, I'll put some beefier socks in them. But twice a year, I really, for example, at the end of winter, like right now, I want to get them ready for summer. And if I don't use them summer, then they'll be ready already for winter time. And what I do is I want to refurbish them a bit, clean them up, because they do, and they sit in my car a lot too, because I'll leave them in the car while I drive. I don't want to wear these while I'm driving, and if they're muddy, I'll put them in a plastic bag in the car, this kind of stuff. But sort of like after the season's sort of done, or after a moment, I want to take them in and get them cleaned up. So first thing I've done, using soap and water, I cleaned them up, I washed them, and especially the sole. And reason why I've done this is to primarily, I want to get the dirt out of them, of course, but I also want to check the sole for any kind of cracks or any kind of failures, or any kind of, if there's any material that's coming open or coming loose, whatever, or any seams that are coming loose. So these this is a boot that's been, it's sort of, I think it's vacuum formed. The sole is, which is the way most boots are going this way. It has a reinforced toe, a reinforced heel with a heavy duty plastic or rubber. And it has a mix between a nylon and I would say a 3/4 leather upper, okay? And it's got a Gore-Tex membrane in it. It uses speed lacing and hook lacing on it, and it's a really good boot, made in Germany, actually. These boots right here are not cheap, but I've had this pair right here for some years now. Now, I don't wear them every day, and I avoid any kind of concrete, that kind of stuff, when I do wear them. So I wear them primarily on the trail. That's why I won't, I'll have something else for driving and this kind of stuff. I'll wear another pair of shoes in. But they're really good boots, really good hiking boots, very comfortable, very lightweight, which is a necessity for myself because I have bad knees. Now, I've tried lots of other boots in the past since I left the Army, from Loa to Reichle, Salomon, and I've got a pair of Salomon boots that I had right before these right here. The problem I had with them is that their sole is quite slippery, I find, so I'm not too happy with the sole. So these right here, I am happy. Now, the footbed's not as wide as I'd like it to be, but then again, they're comfortable. You get the feeling you're a little bit up off the ground when you're wearing them, but like I said, they're still comfortable, and I still have a good feeling in them. Anyway, what I do with them is I check out the sole, I check out all the stitching, I give a good look around, I look on the inside, I pull the insole out, and I have a look on the inside to make sure that because I change my insoles. I don't use the insole that comes with the boot. And I've discussed this in the previous video when it comes to shoes, this kind of like that. But what I do is I have an insole, an orthopedic type insole that I use. It's quite old. I've had it for many years. and it's starting to deteriorate. So I need to replace it. That's all fun. See this right here? So I need to replace this thing. So I've got to get some new insoles with these boots. That's already a must right there. So that's a bit of a shame because I really like that. But I also look on the inside of the back of the boot where the heel is at, and I want to make sure there's no hole. Because what happens, I don't wear cotton socks, but if people who do wear cotton socks, they cause blisters. They hold on to humidity, and so the problem that you have there is that you have you have a lot of friction on the inside. So I will actually put my hand on the inside. I'll feel around on the inside of the boot to make sure there's no holes, there's no friction marks, just kind of like that. And I'll clean out the inside of the boots also. Here I've already found it in this year, and there's been some years I've had this insole. I need to change the insole now, so I'll be looking to get a new insole for these boots right here now to finish out the season. No big deal. You can pick them up anywhere. These right here were a specialty pair. I've had these for over 16, 17 years, and I wear them only in my hiking boots. They've done really such a great job, but you know, it's time to move on now after all these years. These were made for me as a test, and I was really happy with them. But anyway, but there are lots of them out there. You can get other stuff out there. And so these boots right here, so far, after all these years I've had them for, I would say, 3 to 4 years now. And these boots have held up just fine. Okay, so everything's good. There's no, I just washed the sole of them off inside the bathtub, and I put them inside some water to let them soak the sole, the mud that was dried to the bottom of it, and that actually, there's nothing came through. So I'm pretty happy that the waterproof is still there, and it's which is very important. Okay, I'll check the laces, make sure that they're good to go too. The laces that come with are pretty good laces. I'm pretty happy with them. They're not these nylon laces like 5/50 quarters kind of stuff. I can replace them with that, but so far they're holding up really well, so I don't have that problem. I don't need to do it. So, so I've already washed them. Now I've checked them over, and they're ready for the next step. Okay, as you see this pair right here, you can see the difference in them. I've already treated these right here. And what I'm doing is I'm treating them with Sno Seal. I know a lot of products out there. This just happens to be one and I've had this pot right here for so many years, and it's still going strong. And because I don't use a whole lot of it, and I don't need a whole lot of it. I'm just getting it on the leather, and I'm using my bare hand. I take a little bit out, and I rub it into the leather, and like so. Take a little bit right here on my finger. I start with the front, and as you see, I just rub it, and I try to touch all the leather, all the seams, because you want to, if it's going to do any kind of leaking, it's going to be around the seams anyway. So I try to get that on there, and you can feel the difference in the leather as you rub it on it, and you'll see, you can feel how dry the leather is. So you need to feed your leather. You need to what do you say in French? Nourrir. You need to feed it. You need to get some nourishment on the leather, and so that it can stay, so it can not start cracking or failing, this kind of stuff. And you see that quite often in boots, especially military boots or boots that are on the market. People, they'll get them wet, this kind of stuff, but they don't ever treat them. So in the Army, of course, we treat it with kiwi or whatever products we have like that to keep them black. And it's okay, but the problem is that you can also see boots that are they're starting to fail. They're starting to crack across the front right here, and that causes, that cracking of that leather is, the leather's already failing, and it's almost nearly impossible to treat that. You have to, if you want to get rid of it, you got to sand it off. You have to go back down to the bare bones and sand it off. And I don't think it's necessary if you clean the leather every once in a while. And I don't clean these nearly as much as I did my Army boots. My Army boots, they were cleaned often, daily. Depends on which ones I wore. They'd quickly get a buffing. Now, I had field boots also. And, of course, the Army doesn't like that term where you have field boots and garrison boots. But we did. Back then, we wore jungle boots. And we had starchers and spitzes, which was our uniforms were starched. And our boots were spit shined and had a really glass mirror image on them. and they looked sharp, especially once you when you had a nice sharp starched uniform, the old BDUs or the jungles, or even the ERDLs from back in the 80s and 70s. Those uniforms look good, and with a nice pair of even with jump boots. And I didn't wear my jump boots with my BDUs. My jump boots were only worn with my my Class A uniform because I was on jump status. And then they were also a boot that I've almost never wore. I still have them, but I never wore them. I never wore them because they just, you know, I only wore them when we had a Class A inspection or something like that. So it was very, very uncommon to see them being worn. I did wear them we did wear them when I was at Fort Bragg for the yearly passing review. You had to wear them with the almost a brand new uniform that was starched, you know, and it looked sharp. But man, I tell you, I hated them. I really wasn't a big fan of having to wear them. But anyway, so once I've got the boot completely covered, okay, I'll then have to make some noise, and that is I'll get my hair dryer out, which I probably should use on my hair because it's a little bit wet right now, but I tend to use it more on my boots than anything else. And I'll just turn it on. It's going to be a little noisy. I do apologize, but you'll hang in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just activate and heat up this wax, and it's going to cause it to absorb into the leather. Now you can also preheat the leather beforehand. That works also. There are lots of techniques. I'm sure people will have different kind of techniques for the same thing. I've even heard people putting these things in the oven. That's something I'm not going to do because I don't want to damage the rest of the boot. The hair works fine. I keep it at a decent distance. It is on the warmest setting. But I run around on it, and you can see as it absorbs into it, the actual leather goes back to being matte, a matte color. And don't forget the tongue here also. Now, this works on any leather boot, okay? Whatever the boot you have, you can apply this technique to it, and it'll work, you know. And there we go. Put this aside, grab a rag, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean off any excess that's around the boot. You don't have to do that, but I just, you know, I tend to do that, especially to get it up off of the sole, it's kind of like that, off the hooks. Now you can also waterproof. You can put a little bit of waterproofing on your laces if you want to. You can also use a spray that's made for synthetics, and you can go ahead and spray the nylon here, but I don't think it's necessary. I think it's fine the way it is. So if you see them now, they're both identical now in color, okay? And so that's how I do it. That's how I prepare my boots. They're now prepared. Okay, I allow them to dry out, especially after a weekend. If I'm wearing this kind of stuff on a hike, I open them up, pull the insoles out, allow them to dry, this kind of stuff, and make sure they're all nice and dried out. You can, there are other ways you can do that too, but and clean up the inside also, because you'll get you know, follicles or you'll get threads from the wool that'll set up in there. Just put your hand in there and pull all this kind of stuff out. It's all natural stuff. It's your boot. It's not like you're doing it for somebody else's boot, but if you do have to do it for somebody else's boot, like your kids, you can do the same way. It's and I have done it for my former wife and my kids. I have shown them, especially my son who was involved in scouting, and I showed him also how to prepare his boots and get them ready so that they'd be ready for the next time he went out, okay? And that's it. Very simple. I hope you enjoyed this little video. And if you did, I appreciate a thumbs up. I want to thank all of you who's been coming to my channel lately, and all of you who've been subscribed since day one. Continue supporting my channel. Continue giving me thumbs up. Being more active in your conversations and comments. Let me know if you've learned something, or if you haven't, or if you got a better idea, because I'm always on the loose for I'm always out there trying to learn something new. And other products. I know there are a lot of other products out there, and this just happened to be one. I used to sell this product, and I fell in love with it, and that's why I use it. These things are like, I think it's like 18 bucks like that when I first bought it, and I've had it for more than about 18 years probably, and it's about halfway. So I still got probably another 18 more years of product in there. More, you know, depends on how I use it. But again, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends and enemies, please. Go on social media, if you have a social media channel, whatever it is, share the links to my channels, to my videos. I appreciate it. And leave a comment down below and let me know. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I hope you all have a pleasant day. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.